Assalamu alaikum everyone. We are back with market research, and right now we are going to talk about secondary market research, which is also known as desk research. Now, primary market research was known as field research because you actually have to go and collect data, but secondary market research is therefore known as desk research because all the data is already available for you. It has already been collected. It is collection of data from second hand resources. Second hand resources means it was already collected before, so you don't have to collect it again or do some research again. It is already there for you. You just have to analyze it. So its main features include that information already collected by some other firm, you have not collected it, it's already there. It could also be by your firm as well, but generally it could be either. It could either be your firm or some other firm. Information is already available. That's the whole idea. That information is already collected. And it is relatively inexpensive. Why is it inexpensive? Because you don't have to carry out research or ask questionnaire. You do some interviews, questionnaires, focus groups, or consumer panels. The data is already available. You just have to collect that data and analyze it. The data has already been collected before, so you don't have to pay for that much the collection process and all. And the third thing is that it saves time as information is already available, so you don't have to go ahead and search for it, as we talked in primary market research, that you have to go and search for the data. It will take time to ask questions about a product from different people. It will take time for focus groups or consumer panels, but over here the data is already available, so you just have to look for where the data is and just get that data. It saves time, and it is generally used for new businesses. Even though it's less credible, it is actually much cheap less expensive as compared to the primary market research. So it is used by new businesses to get an idea about the customer trends, the trends in market, the customer taste, the competition that exists, or competition that might be exist in later future. So that's why it is helpful for new businesses. However, of course, it has some drawbacks. It may not be specific to the business needs. As it was already collected by some other firm, it's not actually, it may not be specific to your needs. So you might have to just get some part of data from it, or that data might not be too much of use to you. For example, if that flavor of ice cream you are about to launch, you're using that, you are finding if that, and if you're using secondary market research, you might not know that if that product will be an hit or not, because that thing does not exist before. So it is not specific to your business needs. There might be some similar ice cream things, but it won't be that specific to your new product which you are about to launch. So that's one limitation. Another thing is that information can be out of date. Of course, the information was collected before and it's second hand, so it won't necessarily be quite useful in present terms. It was used before, so using it again might not be too much of good thing, because it can be out of date due to the changes in economy, changes in demand. For example, in this COVID situation, if you look before, how much Zoom was used, how much online education was used before, and if you look now, there's a huge difference. Because of the COVID situation, the whole platform changed, the whole market changed. So that's why the old information can be out of date. The other thing is that information can also be misleading if it was out of date, or it might not be, as it was not suitable to your business needs. It might be misleading. And another thing which might make it misleading is the fact of questionnaire biases or customer biases. There might have been some bias before when the information was collected or information was being collected, due to which it can be misleading now as well. So that's about secondary market research. We have talked about the pros and cons of it, and let's talk about some sources of secondary market research. Now, secondary market research could either be internal sources or external sources. These both are available. Internal generally involves internal company records, annual reports, stock movements, sales trends, other info like supplier and customer records. All this are internal information which is not actually taken from other competitors. It is actually past information like things which have already take place before. So using that data to identify or anticipate what might happen now, or use that data for some other purposes, maybe to identify the, like, when before your sales were dropping, what was the cost before, and perhaps that is the same cost now as well, or something similar like that. External is for something different, like if you are launching a new product or looking for ideas for new products, maybe, or you're trying to understand the competition that's going on, which price should be charged for a particular product. So for that, external data can be used. External could be newspaper, magazines, government publications, from libraries, economic surveys, internet, or prepared research reports from other competitors or firms. all this data all this data exists beforehand. You don't have to go and collect it. External or internal, it depends on the needs of the business or that particular situation. In exams, you might be asked about why secondary market research should be used over primary market research. The main benefits are that it is relatively inexpensive and it takes less time. The information is already available for you to use, so you can immediately use that information for the business actions, for marketing decisions and all. They could ask you about the drawbacks of it. We have discussed earlier that it's not the information might not be specific to your business, it might be out of date, or it might be misleading. What are the sources? These are some examples of sources. You won't be asked to give explanation of some sources. You might just be out how the sources can be used, so you just have to list down some sources and just say how it could be used for that particular requirement of the business. Like the examples I gave about launching a new ice cream, maybe, or researching about the competition, what sort of competition exists, what are the customers, what were the customers' demands and patterns before, and what might happen perhaps. All of this could be used from secondary market research. Hope you guys understood the topic. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz. And sorry for the voice lags and all.